now we will be moving on to our next session, which is Insights from the Economic Census. And our speaker is Dr. Priyadarshana Dharmawardana, Department of Census and Statistics. This session will offer valuable insights into the structure of industries, the role of businesses, and employment patterns, helping us better understand the drivers of the country's economic growth and development. If you could all join me in welcoming Dr. Dharmawardana onto the stage, please.
Thank you, Advocata. And very good afternoon, all the ladies and gentlemen. So, actually, I'm going to talk about the picture of the economic activities in Sri Lanka based on the economic census we have done in 2013 and 14. Actually, I would say if there were no COVID pandemic, so we would have DCS would have presented you the latest economic census results, but unfortunately, we had to move the change the dates and the years because of those issues, challenges we had. So, economic census actually, from the economic census, we have a very good opportunity to understand the micro level, the grassroots level activities in the country. So, in census, in the sense, we are covering almost all the units in the country. So, therefore, we have a very good opportunity to understand the base, the micro level activities in the country. So, economic census is conducted once in 10 years as population census. It is followed by the population census and housing. So, the last one, as I mentioned, 2013 and 14. The next economic census is scheduled to be conducted this year and 2026 next year. Right. When I'm talking about the area of the coverage, we know there are two sectors, mainly agriculture sector and non-agricultural sector. Actually, we conducted economic census in two phases, agriculture sector and non-agricultural sector separately. The last time we had our very first maiden experience on conducting economic census. So actually, up to now, we have learned lesson a lot, and we are hoping to revise those lessons we learned from the previous census and do it in a proper way in the forthcoming economic census. Moving forward to the results, actually, this is a number of agricultural operators by sector and by gender. Agricultural operator means the person who is responsible for decision making in agricultural activities, person who is engaged in agricultural activities, especially farming, livestock management, and aquaculture like that. So, and he has to be a decision maker of that particular activity. So, you can see there also we have identified in two sectors, small holding sector and state sector. In small holding sector, in both sectors, males are dominated. 81.3% of males are engaged in small sector agricultural activities, while only 18.7% are in female. I'm focusing on agricultural operators. That means the decision maker, right? Not the employees. And when you are comparing the 2002 census and the 2014, actually, now there is a 12 period of duration. So we have to understand that during this 2002, there was a war in the country. So therefore, there was a coverage issue. So as a result of that, at that time, the numbers are very low comparatively 2014. When you're talking about the non-agricultural sector, actually there we covered all the private sector institutions, public sector and semi-government sector we excluded from the economic census last time, 2014, and also the three-wheeler drivers. So they were also excluded from that census. Actually, we did a survey, sample survey from the three-wheeler drivers. So I think this gives a very good picture for us. Now, there are, the first column you can see the person engaged. As Mr. Jefferji mentioned in his presentation, you can see from that economic census, we could recognize there were 1,019,681 economic establishment of the country. Out of those 1,637,077 are operated by one single person. That means 62.5% are operated by a single person. So when you are talking about in the second line, 2 to 3, 277,596, altogether 27.2. When you take the cumulative value, actually it was, you can see the fourth column, 89.7%. That means almost 90% of the economic establishment are run by less than 4 persons in the country. So I think this gives us the picture. But importantly, you can see the more than 100, 100 and above, it should be 100 and above, there was only 1,926 establishment we could identify in 2014. Only 1,926 establishments are run by 100 and above number of employees. Now, move on to the persons engaged, right? As you can see, from this less than 2,000 large establishment, from that 2,000 large establishments, there were employees, size of employment, that was 7,055,952. From in the last, you can find here 755,952. As a percentage, 25% of the total workforce are run by those large 2,000 establishments, while only 42% of the establishments are run by the lowest 90% of the establishments. So this is the huge factor to be considered. So at that time, from this, using these results, economic census results, we, using the pattern of this distribution pattern, DCS define micro, small, medium, and large scale enterprises. Actually, now it has been cabinet approved definition done by Minister of Industries. Until then, at that time, it was not there. Therefore, we defined using the person engaged these micro, small, medium, and large scale establishments. Now, from the next economic census, we are hoping to collect data using the cabinet approved definition. Right. From that, definition was based on number of person engaged. Actually, it was industry, trade, and services. Separately, we have defined separate definitions because depending on the activities, the establishment size can differ. So there are more than, less than 5 persons engaged are considered as micro scale establishment under the industry sector. Likewise, but in trade, it was less than 4. Likewise, more than 200 person engaged establishments we considered as a large establishments under industry, but it was more than 35 in the trade and more than 75 in the service sector. So using these definitions, the next table was constructed. So you can see the distribution pattern of micro, small, medium, and large sector under industry and trade, services sectors. So as they are, the first column was number of establishment, the second column was number of persons engaged. Under the micro sector, you can see, under the micro sector, out of 1 million, total of 1,935,736 number of establishments are belongs to micro sector, but their persons were 1,338,675. So it's very low. But here, considering the large sector, 2,414 number of establishments belongs to large-scale enterprises, but they are taking care of 750,000 employees, right? So there's a big gap between them. Okay. Now let's move on to the next slide. Actually, from this census, we gathered information. We collected data on the decision maker. We asked a question, who's the decision maker? Whether the decision maker is a female or male, right? From that, this table illustrates, out of total 1 million, 75.2% are males. The main decision makers were male. And female decision makers were 24.8%, right? And so you can look at the graph over there. That was the distribution pattern of the gender of the decision maker by economic activity section, main economic activity. So you can see the last bar, construction sector, construction. The blue color was given for the male and female, the pink color was given for the female, that is their color. So construction sector, it was dominated by males, actually 98%. But most importantly, there was a very, very tiny little pink color over the construction sector. That means there were 2% of females that are handling construction sector establishments. That is interesting, I think. And when you move on to the first bar, the top bar, education sector, that was where the majority of females are making decisions owned by the establishments owned by majority of females. That's belong to education sector, education. The reason was, as I mentioned, this is not belongs to, the coverage was only for private sector, not the government and semi-government. This education, that was belong to preschools, nurseries and preschools. We know there are lots of ladies, not the lot of, I think almost all the preschools are handled by females. Can you think of an experience about a gentleman is handling a preschool? To me, it is not. So therefore, the education sector, dominated by the, not dominated, the majority of, considering the female-owned economic activities, majority of them are engaged in education sector. Right. Now, this table was conducted using the micro-level businesses. Actually, I got the top 10 male-owned micro-level businesses, actually activities. These activities, we collected data, and we gave the code for those activities based on the ISIC Revision 4, International Classification of Industries, Revision 4. Actually, there we localize into Sri Lankan context. Under that, the male microsector male-owned businesses, total businesses were 689,471. Out of them, 111,511 were groceries, retail shops, that means boutiques, right? So from all the male-owned businesses, micro-level businesses, 16% of them are boutiques, retail shops. So then cafeterias, the next one, actually it was 16.2. After that, the value is very low. That was more than 100,000. The next value was 23,681, very low. That was cafeteria. Manufacture of rice under third rank, that was the rice mills. Likewise, those are the things. And you can see at the bottom, 9th place, tailor shops. Tailor shops, it was also there. So these are these are the economic activities that the majority of micro sector males are conducting. This table illustrates the top 10 businesses that are female-owned micro-level businesses, female-owned one. The main decision maker was female. The same, the majority of them are run doing a grocery, retail shop, that's a boutique. And the next one, tailor shops, tailoring. The next level, as a percentage, 12.1% out of the total. The third one was other food service activities. Actually, this belongs to the service sector. That was, now you can see in the village level, there's a person who is doing a cafe, going to home, a resident, a house, for cooking, for a special function like that. Small micro-level catering service likewise. So those are the things that, those are the activities belongs to that category, number 3. So that type of females are very high compared to others. And the fourth one, nursery education. That's what I mentioned, preschools. So those are the main female-owned businesses, the activities of female-owned businesses there. I think this is clear. In a census, we have a very good opportunity to produce results by Grama Nilladhari division level. Grama Nilladhari division means the lowest administrative division in Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, GN divisions, we have 14,000 GN divisions. So these maps has been drawn, Grama Nilladhari division-wise, the distribution of economic establishments by GN division level. So you can see the more density is towards the Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, the western area, and middle part of the country, and also the Kurunegala and the southern coast. The distribution is very low towards other areas. And some areas you can find absolutely nothing because of the forest, Yala and Vilpattu. It is quite understandable. And the majority of them are scattered together. The areas belongs to western, north, the Kurunegala area and the southern coast, and the Kandy, and of course the Jaffna Peninsula. This matching has been carried out using the economic census plus population census and household income and expenditure survey. Now you know the poverty. Poverty is calculated by the DCS using household income and expenditure survey conducted by once in 3 years. So using that, and there's a technique called small area estimation. Using that technique, amalgamating poverty, HIES, and population census, the second, your right side map was carried out. That was a poverty headcount ratio by DS level, divisional secretariat level. From the household survey, we can't produce statistics by divisional secretariat level because of it's a sample. Sample is not sufficient. But from that small area estimation using the population data, population census was carried out in 2012. At the same year, household expenditure survey was also carried out. So using that, we did that analysis, DS level, poverty headcount ratio. That's the monetary poverty. And your left side, it was the DS level, non-agricultural economic establishment distribution. Non-agricultural level, right? So this is very clear. Now you can see in the non-agricultural establishment map, when the colors is getting dark, that means the density is high. On your right side, when the colors actually start from the green and ended up with red. Red mean more poor. Green mean less poor. So you can see the area with more non-agricultural economic activities, poverty is less. Area with lack of non-agricultural economic activities, the poverty is low. That means in order to eradicate the poverty, in order to reduce the poverty, agricultural activities has not been a effective factor. So the non-agricultural activities has been comparatively, it has been an effective factor. So we have to, for the decision makers, I think it has to be think more about this fact. And this one. This was the distribution of non-agricultural economic establishments owned by females, right? At the same, this is actually these colors were given for the percentage of female decision makers. When it becomes dark, percentages are high, becomes low, percentages are low. So you can see there are lots of female-oriented, female decision makers are gathered together in eastern coast, eastern area, rather than others. Even that much in Colombo as well. Eastern area is high. The reason was I checked what are the more popular activities among females in those regions. Actually, the things I mentioned you, other food providing food service activities. These are the activities majority of females are doing in eastern coast, eastern area. And what happened in Colombo and the Gampaha, the areas like western? I think the reason might be because this was done for the private sector, excluded the government and semi-government sector, we excluded. So there are lots of government sector, semi-government sector employees are in Colombo and Gampaha area. So females especially, they are in Colombo and Gampaha area rather than eastern. That can be the reason, right? And there are so many publications we done in from that census. You can find them in the website. And if you need any additional type of tabulations, you can make a request, and DCS is willing to provide you your requirements. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmawardana, for that presentation.